Welcome to the Stogie Geek Show, episode 134. This episode is sponsored by De Los Reyes Cigars. Try the new Saga line of cigars, including the Saga Golden Age and the Saga Blend No. 7. And by M. Bombay Cigar, representing the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. Visit them at bombaytobac.com. And by Mr. J. Savannah Smoke Shop. Located in Rhode Island, they have an outstanding selection of premium handmade cigars. And by the Havana Cigar Club. In Warwick, Rhode Island, it's a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. And by AJ Fernandez Cigars, handcrafted in Nicaragua using the finest materials. Brands include the San Latano, Pinolero, and AJ's recently released New World brand. Visit them on the web at ajfernandezcigars.com. And by Debonair Cigars. Visit stogiegeeks.com/Debonair for an updated list of retailers who carry Debonair. Buy some today and get a little more Debonair. And by Ocean State Cigars. Try the J Grotto series, including the new J Grotto Anniversary. You can visit them on the web at oceanstatecigars.com. Welcome, everyone, to this very special edition of the Stogie Geek Show. This is episode 134 for March 26, 2015. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian, even. I can't even see my own name.
Yeah, that's a problem.
More cocktails. Maybe I had too many. I'm not sure which. Mr. Will Cooper's on the line from North Carolina. Welcome, Will.
Greetings, everybody.
Yes, nice to have you, Will. I'm looking forward to our show this evening, as always. We've got some very special guests in studio to kick things off. Mr. Todd Lascola is here from the Havana Smoke Shop next door, and he's brought along with him a very special guest, Mr. Kurt Kendall from 724 Cigars. Welcome, Kurt.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, nice to have you here. So, Kurt, how did you get into the cigar business?
Well, I'll keep it brief, but back in the mid-'90s, enjoying premium cigars for the first time with my twin brother, growing up in Hartford, just smoking, enjoying ourselves, camaraderie between us. We decided, as much as we loved him, my twin brother has a restaurant in Essex, Connecticut, decided to put a few in his retail restaurant for sale, and he was doing really well with it. So in '96, he asked me if I wanted to join him and open a cigar shop in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, in which we proceeded, but it fell apart. We found out there was a guy who got a head start on us right down the road. So I packed my bag. I was living in New Hampshire at the time. I went back home, decided to move forward and open up my own retail establishment, which we call Twin Smoke Shop. In June 1st, '97, we opened that up. I say we. It was a joint venture between my brother and I, but after we moved our own way and I went back to New Hampshire, I did it on my own. So 18 years later, we're still running those stores, busy 3 stores. Learned a lot from it. About 10 years ago, I started learning all the history of this 724 brand, which is from Manchester, New Hampshire. And with all the history and the artifacts I was collecting, I decided to try and bring it back to the market. So I kicked it around for a few years. I went down to Honduras and Nicaragua a few times. I met a lot of very unique characters, tried to get the brand going, working with my lawyer and getting the trademark nailed down. We finally came up with a recipe and decided to bring it to the market.
Nice. That's really cool. So, do you ever send your twin brother to like an event in your place? No, I'm just kidding.
He almost came tonight.
Yeah.
But, he went to
Is it really you as your twin brother, right? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm actually Kevin Kendall. No, we sound identical. Right now, you would never know the difference on the phone. Or
no, you have a tattoo. Does he have similar tattoos, or is that way you tell each other apart?
They're not similar tattoos, but he's tattooed
He's
as well.
the same exact tattoo.
No, none
okay.
of that.
All right, gotcha.
But you know what? It's funny. He got a 724 tattoo before I did.
No,
So,
that's funny. That's funny. Well, he's
kinda
showing you the
unique.
support. That's cool.
yeah,
That's
he's supportive. But we're best friends, and we talk just about every day.
Cool. That's awesome.
Even though he drove down the road and went to another cigar event tonight, I figured he would have came here for some support, but it didn't happen.
Oh, that's funny. So let's talk about the Hustler, because it is one of the more unique looking cigars that I believe is on the market today. And I have to be honest, when I was first smoking it, you start to think, well, is it a gimmick? Is it really going to live up to the beautiful packaging? And I'm also not a big fan of blue on the band, but you've made that work, I think, because of the offset in the barber pole wrapper. When you see this cigar on the shelf, it violates all the rules that I have in my mind about what a cigar should look like on the shelf. But it catches your eye, and you've just done a great job in this presentation, kind of breaking the mold about what a cigar should look like. So tell us how you came up with the idea.
Well, that cigar in your hand is actually like a mistake. It was never designed to hit the market like that, you see. It's a striped cigar. Some people call it a barber pole. It has a slightly different stripe than most barber poles. We were blending, sitting down at a table, several of us around, trying all different blends, smoking. We wanted to incorporate some of the Brazilian Matafina in this new blend from our original blend, because I really like the characteristic of that. Also, looking at the market, realizing how big Connecticut still is and was at the time, we were messing around with a little bit of that. So as we're smoking different blends, there's scraps of tobacco all over the place. This guy takes a strip of the Connecticut, puts it right over the top of the Matafina, and lights it up. And we're all kind of laughing at him, pointing at him, and he's like, wow, this is... that stripe of Connecticut really changed it a lot. It put a little creaminess to it. So he passed it around the table. We all smoked it and tried it, and were impressed by it.
No, it's definitely one of those cigars. When I first saw it, in fact, when Kurt was here last time, it was the first time we were just bringing it in for when Kurt came in. And I thought the same thing. I go, maybe it's a little bit gimmicky and things like that. And I smoked it, and I was floored at how good it is. And also, it's unique because of the Brazilian and because of the Connecticut. I'm more of a medium plus guy, and I was a little scared when you see the dark wrapper, and then when I found out it was the Brazilian, it's a sweet, creamy,
it's good
flavorful
smoke.
medium-bodied smoke.
I
It's
agree.
phenomenal.
I really enjoy them.
Don't be afraid of the dark wrapper.
We kind of broke the rules with that cigar, and when we decided to come out with it in the market, I was really nervous. I'm a little self-conscious. I guess I'm not man enough to not want to be made fun of, and we bring it to the trade show 2 years ago. We got it on the shelf. The show floor is ready to open, and I was petrified. I'm thinking I'm going to get crucified with this thing, and sure enough, the first day, I remember Pete Johnson walking by, and I'm Pete's a mentor and a friend, and I was a little nervous, and he says, wow, I was going to come out with a striped cigar. I guess I won't now. So it took off in the market a little bit. It was kind of a surprise. The Cigar Aficionado was rated it 3 times, which I'm not sure if it's the first striped cigar ever rated, but
it's got a tighter.
Really well.
It's a tighter barber pole than I'm normally. Normally, a barber pole will have a thicker bands. These bands are much. There's a lot more stripes on the cigar than a normal barber pole.
And I was afraid it looked a little gimmicky to me. And
but that's a really cool look. It's pretty unique.
Yeah. What I found was in an event or in my own retail stores, a gentleman would be smoking it in the lounge. The guy across in the next chair would walk over and say, hey, what is that? Next thing you know, he's smoking it. It's kind of a chain reaction. The blue was another complete accident.
Yeah. Normally blue looks terrible on a cigar, but I think because of that tight barber pole, the blue just works for whatever reason. I think that's really cool.
I had a hat on that color, and it had that 724 logo on the top of it. And as we're messing around, creating boxes, somebody said, "Hey, let's go with that blue," and I said, "There's no way. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous."
That's a rule. There's rules in this
Yeah.
game, Kurt.
So we broke that rule. Came out with a blue.
Oh, I'm glad you did because it looks cool.
It's an old trademark from the late 1800s,
Mm-hmm.
the Hustler, and I had one single box on my desk. It was like a Petit Corona size. I've been staring at it for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the logo, and we decided to give it a try. And
Now, did their trademark expire? Or
Yeah,
did
it
it had
expired.
long expired, so we were able to obtain it. You didn't have to buy it from them, in
No,
other words. Yeah.
I didn't. No,
No, that's cool.
We put it under the 724
Umbrella.
family and
Mm-hmm.
umbrella, and it worked out.
Cool. Now, tell us about this Lancero that I'm smoking here. You said these were kind of limited.
They are. That's our Nicaraguan blend. It's called the 1874 series. That was a size that I made basically for me to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And as I passed them around, people really liked them.
Yep.
We decided to make a couple hundred boxes. I realize the Lancero market is a little soft. It seems like most people like them that are either in the industry or stogie geeks.
If I had to pick a favorite of your cigars, and I smoked a lot of them today, actually, it would be this Lancero.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, it's funny you say that.
That ratio of tobacco with that Habano
Yeah.
wrapper is
You really get a lot
good.
of flavor from
It
the
was
wrapper.
it was amazing because actually Leon, my partner, and I went up to visit Kurt, and we're in his shop, and I go, "Well, what haven't I tried from 724?" He goes, "Well, I know you don't carry this in your shop." So I said, "Sure, I'll take one of those." And I smoked it, and I was just floored. I'm like, how? Needless to say, before I left that day, and I don't normally order, John orders.
Yeah.
I said, "No, send us a couple boxes right off the bat." I love that cigar. I had two of them today.
Yeah.
With Kurt earlier. I love that cigar.
And I can see it's pairing well with coffee. It's actually pairing very well. I've got a Manhattan with cognac, actually. It's pairing fantastic
nice.
with it. Yeah.
That's good.
I like that versatility in a cigar, and it's got that flavor profile that, it's medium-bodied enough. I think it goes well with coffee, but it's meaty enough that it'll pair with a spirit.
Yeah, that's right. All our cigars we try and design like that, so it's just enough. We say blended for every palate. It's medium-bodied, really smooth, but it satisfies the guys that like the fuller-bodied cigars. And I can confidently hand most sizes, maybe not that one.
Yeah, this one's got a
to
little
mild
more
smoker.
amped up in kind of body than some of your other ones. So,
Yeah, well, I'm glad you like it. Thank you.
yes. Will, so do you have questions for Kurt?
Yeah, and I just want to comment that 1874, I haven't had the Lancero, but that's a fantastic blend, actually. It's one of my favorites of the line.
Well, we'll make sure we send you down
thanks, Will.
some when
Yeah,
we send
that's
you
a
your
hint,
next shipment.
Todd.
Yeah,
Next
I took it as
shipment.
I took it as a hint.
It was a direct hit. So actually, I'm smoking your new cigar, the Factory 57. Tell us a little about that cigar. 'Cause, this is really interesting cigar. I'm enjoying it immensely right now.
Well, that cigar, the name came from the tax designation to the factory. So in all the old antique boxes and things I've collected, I used to see that on there all the time. Decided that I wanted to use it, but I kind of shelved it for a few years for a future project. So the name came from that. The blend itself, people were asking for a little bit richer, fuller-bodied blend than some of our original blend in the 1874. So we messed around with some different tobaccos, and that wrapper from Jalapa is really nice. It's got some nice spiciness to it. It's rich. It's, I would say, relatively full-bodied.
Yes.
And we combined that with a Costa Rican binder and some unique filler. There's not a lot of Ligero in that, but it tends to have just enough spice, and it's smooth at the same time. So we released that last year at the IPCPR show, and it's been a relatively limited run so far, but we're getting into our second run, and we'll be shipping them very soon.
Sure. And I actually smoked one today for the first time, and at first I got hit with the floral, which surprised me, and then it dissipated very, very quickly, just sort of blended in, and it's definitely a little more full.
Yeah.
It's definitely at the high end of my range, but very complex cigar. It's a really
And it does
enjoyable
have a few
smoke.
changes as you smoke it.
It was.
for
It was.
sure.
It definitely did. It was a very unique cigar, and it was very good, but
Yeah,
very complex.
I agree. And it's really finishing clean on the palate. So it's got a real clean finish as this finishes on the palate.
That's one of the things with Kurt cigars, because I was sick for a little while last week, so I'm a little back on my cigar smoking. John walked in, he goes, "What are you, making up for lost time?" Because I got here about 3, and by the time 7 o'clock rolled around, I was already 3 724s in. And they're just such a clean cigar that it doesn't destroy your palate.
Through your cigars today too. I must have smoked 3 or 4 of them today.
Well, that's great
as well.
to hear. I appreciate that.
Well, they were on
Spreading the
sale
word.
next door, so I'm like, Kurt's going to be here. I'm like, cigars are on sale, so it's a good opportunity to do that.
But really clean. There's not a 724 that destroys your palate when you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't wake up with that crazy mouth in the morning.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. So I want to go back because I mentioned before the show, Kurt, that I was traveling, and I was reading Cigar Aficionado, and the Hustler was featured and rated in Cigar Aficionado in the dog walker size.
Yes.
So first, tell us what's a dog walker size?
Well, the dog walker was another career mistake. We came out with 5 original sizes in 724, and the 6th size was going to be the Londres. Mm-hmm. Well, my communication with the factory was bad, and I didn't know all the proper terminology, so I was asking for a cigar with a shaggy foot. Mm-hmm. And I explained, I want the wrapper to come over the end, so when you light the cigar, you're lighting the loose wrapper on the end.
Love that.
Well, when they came in, the real terminology for shaggy foot is there's no wrapper on the end. There's 3/4 of an inch exposed of the binder and filler.
Yeah.
And when I lit that up, it wasn't what I wanted cosmetically, and it didn't taste good. It wasn't the complete blend.
Right.
So I couldn't release them. So we cut 3/4 of an inch off. Mm-hmm. And from my retail experience in living in New England with all the snow and smoking in the garage and walking your dog, I called the small cigars dog walkers for years. So a guy'd walk in, "Hey, Charlie, what's up?" Grabbing some little cigars. We call them dog walkers. And
Yeah.
So that's how the name dog walker came out. We did it in the original blend, and then we did it in
The Hustler. Yeah.
the Hustler blend. And it did really well. Actually, Cigar Aficionado rated it twice in
I think it was a 92 in there rated.
3 issues.
Yeah, it was a
And
92
it did
in
really
the latest
well.
one. Yeah.
I don't remember if it was a 92, but it was. It did really well.
Well, Paul saw it yesterday, so I'm pretty sure.
I think it was a 92. Pretty sure.
And I guess I can release the fact that I haven't told anybody yet, but we're coming out with a dog walker in the Factory 57 blend.
Nice.
Which will be out soon. We're also switching our packaging a little on the dog walkers. We have 5-packs and 20-count boxes. We're switching them over to 30s and making it a little friendlier for the retailer.
Yeah, I smoked a dog walker today. Very good, nice creamy profile to it. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like that size, and it's.
I can't wait to try the Hustler in that size. That's one I haven't tried yet. So.
Well, hopefully Todd will bring him in soon and.
Yes. Gentle nudge.
Gentle nudge. Now, when we walk back next door, let John know.
Yeah.
And because John is the one we have to remind, because you don't want to go on my memory.
This is true.
If it's not in my phone, I've got a problem, or on the laptop. As Paul will attest to. Paul and I have the same issues.
Yeah,
I was just going to say,
we're
you
cut
guys
from the same cloth in that respect.
Got to create a system.
That's right. So, Kurt, what else do you have coming up? You mentioned the new size in the factory.
Factory 57, we're coming out with a dog walker.
Yep.
We do have a couple other sizes we're working on. I haven't talked about them at all. I guess I will tell you. We're coming out with a Club Perfecto for the original blend. And it tends to be a little bit richer, fuller bodied, old style Perfecto, tapered on both ends. And I guess I'll leave it at that for right now.
What's the size on that? Is it a shorter one? Or?
Yeah, it's a 5-inch by, I believe it was 52.
Nice.
Tapered nicely and nice and even on both ends. It really changes the profile and the flavor of the cigar.
It's amazing how that. Now, do you tweak? How do you tweak the blends for different sizes or something? I always ask people that are.
Well, we do tweak them a little bit. Obviously, in the smaller ring gauges, we have to tweak them. accordingly because of the size. And then obviously the ratio of tobaccos you're smoking changes the flavor completely.
Yep.
But we do have a little bit of tweaking with each size
Right.
to create what we're after.
Yeah, some will end up with like a little more of a certain kind of filler. Some may end up with a little less, right?
Well, with these especially the 38 ring gauge Lanceros.
Yeah.
You know, by the time you use your wrapper and binder, you got to really tweak the fillers.
Yeah.
And,
I've seen some manufacturers take out a filler leaf completely because they're like, I just can't make it work, so I got to remove this one completely and see how it does. So
Well,
it kind of attests to when you're in a store, you should try the different sizes. I never judge anything based on one particular size. I'll always try and find the size that works best for me because they exhibit so many different flavor characteristics.
Yeah, definitely. I tend to smoke the narrow ring gauges. I like we have a Londres, which is actually our slowest selling cigar, but definitely one of my favorites. I like the Lanceros, and I really like the 46 ring gauge, the Corona Gorda size. Not too often do I smoke much larger, but
as a general rule, that's where all mine are. Coronas, Lanceros, Corona Gordas. I do like the Perfecto. You're talking about the double size.
Yeah.
Because at least what I'm smoking is in that smaller ring gauge, and you get a little bit more body in the middle.
Now, do you make the larger ring gauges because of market demand as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
In the Hustler, you make a larger ring gauge.
We make a 58 ring gauge in that. And then I guess I could tell my little Rhode Island story here. We did an event at another Rhode Island retailer years ago, and everybody was asking for that 60 ring gauge. Well, I had a 56 ring gauge, and it just wasn't good enough for these guys.
Wasn't big enough, yeah.
Yeah, you got to have a 60. So I took it into consideration. The event wrapped up. We went out. We went to what do you call it? Olneyville.
Olneyville. You went to Olneyville.
Got some
wieners.
Belly busters.
We got some hot wieners. My first time ever. I burped those things up for 2 days.
At least. Yep.
So the next day, I run across.
They're still with you, Kurt.
That's right.
Yeah. I can promise you.
Always be there.
And what I spilled in the car that stayed for like 3 months. But, the next day, I run across my rep, and he says, "Hey, Kurt, I heard you went and got some Gagas."
Yeah, Gagas.
That's right.
I'm like, Gagas? What the heck are you talking about? He's like, yeah, Gagas. You went and had some Gagas, some hot wieners. And I'm like, yeah, I guess
that's
so.
because the next day, everyone around you is gagging from your breath. I think that's not where the name comes from.
So that's where when we came out with our 60 ring gauge cigar, which we talked about in Rhode Island, and then the next day.
You didn't call it the Gaga, did you?
Yeah, it's called the Gaga.
Nice.
Now, we didn't spell it Gaga because I didn't want people to say, I'm trying to figure out how to spell Gaga, but I didn't want people saying
on the end,
Gaga or So we spelled it out with the R.
Yep.
But that's what our 60 ring gauge is called.
We don't completely leave out the R's; they come back in other words.
In words where they don't belong.
We have ideas, right?
We have ideas.
So we get the R. You get the R's back in our language.
Yes. Yeah. We collect them back on words where they don't belong.
You guys got problems.
But it is funny, especially in Rhode Island, as much as any place else in New England in general, but Rhode Island especially, is the larger ring gauges are really popular.
Really popular.
And we've talked about it many times on your show, Paul. We probably have more small ring gauge cigars, Coronas, Lanceros. I guarantee you we have more Lanceros than maybe every other shop combined next door. And because it just has a tendency, our customer base, we sell plenty of large ring gauge, but we smell a lot of the small.
Your collection of people that like the large
ring gauge. But we have
sometimes it's what you smoke and what you train them on and introduce them to.
It's true. Yeah.
For a while, that's all I gave away at events was narrow ring gauge cigars, and people would snarl at me and bark at me, and then they'd come back and say, "Wow, you were right."
Mm-hmm.
Education's big. I mean, unfortunately, we have John next door who has really driven the Lancero, Corona Gorda, the smaller ring gauge cigars, because it really does add a whole different dynamic to a cigar.
And now, associated with the event, are there going to be deals on 724 beyond today, or?
We've got 724, and obviously Stogie Geeks people, if you call and say Stogie Geeks, you'll get today's deals. I don't care when you watch the podcast.
Gotcha. And it's additional 10% off,
You get 10% off up to 5 sticks. You get 10% off, plus you get a free stick, courtesy of Kurt. You can also do a Build-A-Box at 15% off. You can pick any 20
Gotcha.
Cigars and you'll get an extra 5 sticks plus the 20% off, or a straight box will work the same way.
Gotcha.
But it still has to be all within the 724 family. If you buy 10 cigars, what were you saying? How many next
We're
door?
doing 10 cigars. You get 2 free, and I guess we're doing T-shirts with
T-shirts
those.
with
We get
those.
the Support Manchester
so you get
T-shirts.
you'll get the 10% off up to 10 on the 10 cigars, but you get 2 free cigars, and you'll get the T-shirts.
Nice.
I think we got some Vertigo 724 lighters we're kicking out of the boxes too. So
Cool.
Absolutely, and yeah, you get a lighter on top with the boxes of the Builder Box. So, and all you have to do is call 401-287-4250. If you want rather deal with email, info@havana-cigar-club.com. What you see at the beginning of Stogie Geeks.
Yes.
The web address. Go there, hit the email, or just do info at that extension. Say this is what we're looking for. We'll get it for you. Free shipping.
what was that phone number again? I want to write it down.
401-287-4250. Thank you, Kurt.
They put it up on the screen, too, as well, for those watching the video. Well, Kurt, thank you very much for coming on the Stogie
you,
Geek
Kurt.
Show.
Well, thank
It's
you for
been a
having
pleasure.
me.
Yes.
I really appreciate the support, and thank you. You guys are doing a great job here.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Will, did you
Appreciate
get
it.
your cigars come in fine?
Yeah, I mean, it came, and I'm really enjoying the Factory 57 because this is the first time I've smoked it, and I'm a big fan of Kurt's stuff. So he's done a great job on this one as well. You've done a great job, Kurt.
Hey, thank you very much. Good to see you.
We got to
by the
get you to
way.
relocate,
too.
Will, so you can
I
smoke
know.
all the time
Well,
inside.
I know, huh?
My dad is a nostalgia car buff, and we keep talking. He lives in New York, and I keep talking. We got to make the road trip up to New Hampshire when I'm up there. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're
To see
opening
Kurt's
up
place,
world
'cause I-
headquarters here soon. So.
Yeah, wait till you see Kurt's new place.
I've seen pictures on social media.
I was
Yeah.
fortunate
Yeah.
enough to when we went up and visited him in October. It was just the shell, but you could see where it was going, and it's going to be an amazing location.
Oh, I bet.
Nice.
So make
If
sure you
there's
get
any
there, Will.
investors out there, I could use a couple $100,000 right now.
Sure, slightly over budget as we all are on
You
construction
gotta go on
jobs.
Shark Tank. You got to pitch it, right?
I love that show.
Me too. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming on the show, Kurt and Todd.
Thanks, Paul.
With that, we're going to take a short break, come back, and with our next interview. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.